What if humans could stop time? What if, one ordinary morning, humanity discovered that time was no longer absolute? What if, with a single thought, a single instinctive command of the mind, a human being could bring the universe to a complete and silent halt? Imagine the moment it happens. A city breathes in and never breathes out. Cars freeze mid-motion, suspended inches from collisions that will never arrive. Raindrops hang in the air like scattered glass, reflecting a world that no longer moves. Birds remain locked in the sky, wings outstretched, caught forever in the act of flight. A shout is frozen halfway between intention and sound, trapped in a mouth that will never close. And you are still moving. In that moment, you are no longer just human. You are an exception. At first, the power feels unreal, like a dream that might collapse if you think too hard about it. You wave a hand in front of someone's eyes. No reaction. You shout. No echo. The world has become a museum of life, and every living thing is now an exhibit, perfectly preserved, perfectly powerless. Time, the great equalizer, has surrendered to you. At first, you tell yourself you will be careful, responsible, moral. You will only observe. You will not interfere. After all, power does not immediately corrupt. It whispers. It waits. You walk through streets that once felt crowded and rushed, now silent and wide open. Without time, there is no urgency, no deadlines, no consequences. The anxiety that once followed every decision evaporates, because decisions no longer lead anywhere. Nothing progresses, nothing decays. But soon, a strange realization settles in. When time stops, so does meaning. A smile frozen on a stranger's face no longer communicates joy. A tear suspended on a cheek no longer expresses pain. Emotion, you discover, only exists because it moves, because it changes. Without time, happiness cannot arrive, and suffering cannot end. Still, temptation grows. You begin to test the boundaries. You move objects, rearrange rooms, walk into places once forbidden. Locked doors become irrelevant when patience is infinite. Secrets reveal themselves easily when no one can stop you. This is the moment philosophers warned us about, because when consequences disappear, ethics begin to blur. Is it wrong to take something if it will never be missed? Is it immoral to alter a moment if no one will ever know it was altered? If harm cannot be felt, has harm truly occurred? You are not evil, not at first, but you are human. And humans have never been trusted with absolute power, not because they are cruel, but because they are curious. And curiosity is dangerous when time is not watching. Days, or what feel like days, pass in a world where the sun never truly rises or sets. You begin to lose track. Hunger still exists, but clocks do not. Sleep becomes optional. Memory stretches and distorts. Without time structure, the mind begins to drift. Loneliness arrives quietly. You are surrounded by billions of people, yet utterly alone. Every conversation is a monologue. Every relationship is reduced to observation. You can stand inches away from someone you love, see every detail of their face, every flaw, every familiar line, and yet they cannot see you. For the first time, you understand something profound. Connection requires time. Love is not a state, it is a process. Trust is not a moment, it is repetition. Life is not a snapshot, it is motion. Without time, you are invisible. And slowly, painfully, the power begins to feel less like a gift and more like exile. You try to imagine the world restarting. You picture sound rushing back into existence, motion flooding every corner of reality. You imagine blending back into the crowd, becoming ordinary again. But now comes the most unsettling question of all. Would the world be the same? Even if no one remembers what happened, you will. You will carry memories from a universe where rules did not apply, where you stood outside morality, outside consequence, outside time itself. And that knowledge changes a person. You have seen how fragile everything is, how easily reality can be paused, how thin the line is between order and chaos. You understand now why time was never meant to be controlled, because time is not a limitation. It is a protection. It protects us from ourselves. Time forces choices to matter. It forces apologies to arrive late and forgiveness to arrive slowly. It forces growth, decay, learning, regret. It prevents us from fixing every mistake so that we must learn to live with them. A frozen world is a perfect world, but perfection is lifeless. And so, standing in a universe that no longer moves, you face the final decision. Not whether you can stop time, but whether you should ever do it again. Because to stop time is not to become a god. It is to discover why gods should never exist among humans. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Not that time can be stopped, but that its unstoppable nature is what makes life worth living.